It's Judith Briles, and you're back for another episode. It's me alone today for the Author You, Your Guide to Book Publishing podcast. And I'm always pleased to thrill that it's to share that I'm thrilled when I get notifications from Good Pods and some of the others that, that this show really does have a good following. I mean, it's over 22 million downloads in the 8 years that we have been live. We were one of the early birds in the podcast before everyone and their uncle and their children's of uncle have podcasts. There's like 5 million of them now to choose from. But I always like to start our shows, and I'm going to use a quote that I've given you so many times because it ties in, it's appropriate for what we're going to be doing today. So if you haven't got this little book, How to Create Snappy, Sassy, Salsy, I can't even say it, success for authors and writers. This has a gazillion like quotes. Let's see. Yeah. Over 400 of them of mine that I do to inspire the authors I work with and the things. But one of the things I have said whenever I work with a new client, there are 2 lines I want you to write down. And you put them on a sticky note, you put them somewhere you can see them. It's going to keep you out of trouble. One of them is, if you never say no, your yeses become worthless. It's so important to become, especially for the marketing side, you have to become myopically focused on what you need to work on. And so you can't do it all. You have to say no at times. But the one I'm going to lead you with is, and this is where help comes in, don't do well what you have no business doing. All right, so that ties into our topic today, which is where I'm going to be going on the creating leads for you. Whether it's called a lead magnet, it's called an opt-in. I've always called it an opt-in. It's strategically placed on your website. But I wanted to do the lead as we got into it, that there are publishing beliefs out there that will crush your success as you go forward with this cool thing that we call authoring. And so some of them are very specific to the topic we're going to do, but I'm going to lead into that, and then we're going to get into the why and the how-to of why you should be going down this route. So one of the big screw-ups that authors do, and you'll see that on reviews, and it deals with the old E-word editing. And if you believe that your mom or your brother, your sister, your pal, your next door neighbor, your fourth grade school teacher, I don't care what it is the editor for your book, you're wrong. They're not. They are like beta readers. They can say, it flows. But these people all like you. They may not want to come back and say, uh-oh, where are you going? I'm going to need my glasses for some of this today. If you believe that if your book is for everyone, it is not. Niche yourself. You can grow in the niche. You don't want to be, you don't want to be the sardine lost in the sea of publishing. 4 million books were published last year. It's easy to get lost. It's easy to drown. So the more you niche yourself, the bigger you can become, really. Right? Believing that your book will be a roaring success, let's define what success is for you. What is it? We all have different ideas of what success are. Believing that you can just wing this thing that as you go forward. No, winging doesn't work. So you need to create some kind of a plan. And in fact, right now, I'm going to be taking it down in a few weeks, but right now, up on my website, I will be showing that to you here during the show. But you can download for free. It's like 7 pages in a PDF format. Just download it. How to create the ultimate book marketing plan, right? Free from me to you. You can go that on my website, thebookshepherd.com. It's right on the homepage. All right. Believing that marketing starts after your book is published. Most authors do this. It's a screw up. When you start writing, or today, That's when your marketing should be starting. Thinking, building your influence. And today's program is about building your influence, building your contacts, where they're going from there in that process of where you're going. That if you believe that if you pay a company or one of the big boys, the top five, takes you on, they will do all the work forward. That's a myth. They may, if you're in a pay to publish operation, like with a hybrid publisher, okay, you pay them for bringing in whatever editing they're going to do. You will pay them for manufacturing your book, getting it in the layout. You pay for all that. With a traditional, the big five, or a second tier publisher, they take that all on. They may give you an advance, a little one, but you won't get any more money until you earn that advance out in sales. Nothing, zero, okay, on that, unless you're selling on your own. So that most of the work with the big publishers as well, unless you're a star, superstar, a celebrity, you're going to do all the marketing. You're going to do all the marketing. That's why you need to start now and building that influence, starting to create this fan base. All right. Believing that you can do it all yourself is another screw up. No, you can't. I know a lot. I can do a lot myself, but I have to make the decision. Let's go back to what I said earlier. Don't do well what you have no business doing. And if I don't say no to stuff, I'm going to get stuck and I won't be able to go forward. Oh, that. So you got to, get help. I have help. I have two virtual assistants that work for me a lot of hours every week to support me. I don't post my own social media. They do it all. Believing that everyone should, buy your book. Again, that's a no-no. And believing that time is really short to get your book out. One of the big problems is the rush to publish factor that happens, the RTF, that unless you have a book that's so topical, so timely, here we are, we're in an election year. It's the year 226, so we have an election year. If you have a book that's really tied to politics and the election and what's going on, yeah, you got to get it out. Otherwise, it's like, woohoo. All right, so now we need to wait for another couple of years. All right, so think about that. But if you've got another book that could be declared like an evergreen, boy, it can be around for a long time. We have an interview coming up with Vicki King, where she will be talking about this next month on how to write a movie in 21 days. Her book is a classic. It is 50 years old and still selling unbelievably well. Right. So that is called evergreen. That is evergreen. Some of the old classics that we turn back to, that we, I one of the books I've reread this summer is one of my favorite books, which is by Pat Conroy, which is The Prince of Tides. Evergreen. There's no sell-by date on it. So you can come back and relook at these things. So if your book has an evergreen possibility to it, if it has a situation where it's just a great, wonderful story, that's evergreen, right? And for all my fiction authors here. So that's what I want you to be, thinking about as we go through this. All right, so this is what we're going to be talking about today. And it's really on how to create, how to start gathering fans. There's a couple of ways to do it. How to start gathering fans and bring them to you. How do you start staying in contact with them? And this is one thing that I'm good at doing and evolving. Now, I gather new fans every time I'm in a bookstore. And one of the ways I do that, and I'm going to share my screen. I'm just going to show you something here to do this. So hopefully it's going to allow me to share my screen here if I can do this. And I want to share something that I create. And I take into the bookstore, all right? and I'm going to bring it down so we make it bigger here. Open it up. No, that's not what I wanted to do yet. So let's do that. There. Now, if you can see here, this is a full sheet. Okay, and what you can see across the top, this is what I carry into every bookstore, every author event, whether it's in my home, whether it's I'm doing a book launch. Like I have a brand new book coming out this summer, Appetizers with Judith. I will have this form, so it has all my books, and I'm going to tell you why I have this form. And then, very simple, what's your name, what's your email, what's your mobile, all right? So I do this. Now, this little form, this little up here, whenever I'm at an event, I immediately put the number of books I have of each title. These are the only books I'm selling right now, the 48 books, 49 books, 39 books, and I put there. Now, underneath on this lower section, you see right here underneath there, I will do little tick marks of how many books I actually sell. In their name, I will have their name after they've left and they've given me their email when they bought a book. I will now code it with just an initial. It could be A. It could be AW for the author's walk. It could be C for cooking. Now, when the appetizers books, which is just join the party, that will just be A for A. So A for appetizer, C for just cooking. Those are two cookbooks I have. My historical fiction, Secret Hamlet, the Secret Awakening, the Secret Journey, the Secret Rise. It just would be SJ, SH, SR, S, A. So those kind of things. So it's coding for me that when I reach out to them, I will send them an email after the event, and saying I enjoy meeting them, and I do a thank you for getting them, and I do an ask, and with the link to Amazon to post a review. Now, am I effective all the time get them? No, people are so hesitant. It's crazy. And coming from that, but this is an essential thing for you to have on what we do when you're at any event. You want to start gathering names, and it always boggles my mind when I ask clients how many email contacts. Well, I have 25. Oh, don't tell me that. All right. Now, and you need to have, this is essential for creating, when you create your opt-in or lead magnet, you need to have a portal, a funnel that these emails can drop in. So, there's a variety out there. MailChimp is a good one. MailerLite, LITE, is a good one. Some people use Constant Contact. Some people do Aweber. I have something that, because I have so many different channels, called Active Campaign. I'm going to tell you, you do not need that powerhouse. You don't need it. MailChimp will be fine. MailerLite is fine on that. And both those two have portals that benchmarks 500 or 1,000, that literally there's no cost for you to use their service to gather that many. Why does that matter? Huge, which is why I'm doing this. Huge. Last month, there was a little problem on social media because people say, well, I've got 3,000 contacts on Facebook. Big deal. Big deal. You can post on there on that. But the power of your email is you are in control of it. So when Facebook went down last month, when Instagram went down last month, when LinkedIn had hiccups, when TikTok had hiccups, when the algorithms went cuckoo on Amazon, and no one knew what in the hell was going on. When you have your email list, you can communicate with people. So when I do a campaign for bestseller, I am using my social media channels, but I also will do one email out telling everyone, hey, today and tomorrow, or whatever the day is, you can grab this book in ebook digital format for free. My gift to you. Here is the link for it. I do that once in an email. That's it. That email could produce 1,000 downloads, which will register on Amazon as a sold order and pushes it up so you get your #1 bestseller. All right. Emails you control. Facebook can go away. They can all alter and be unusable, out of sync. The crowds have left the building, fill in the blank, but your emails, you can stay in contact. So today is about how do we get these babies? How do we gather them up? And that's what I want. How do you create this vehicle that will bring them together for you? All right. That's where we're going today. Now, where it goes is going to go on your website. And what it consists of, that's totally up to you, what you want to do to put together. But things that work well, and this is a giveaway. When you create an opt-in, it is a giveaway. You will create a campaign behind that opt-in that you will push out on social media. If you if you already got your email list, that doesn't, or you don't send it out to your current email list because they're already on. This is to get new email contacts, people who you are not regularly communicating with, whether it's a newsletter, whether it's your blog that goes out. That's what you would be using for your email list. A special announcement could be a party, who knows on that. Like every summer, I do an author food fest here at my home, where sometimes I cater it, sometimes I'm doing all the barbecuing, or I have someone help me because that's not my forte. But one of my clients is a barbecue champ. How perfect is that? All right. So we do those things and we will announce that. That invitation goes out by email only. Okay. So emails are powerful tools and they're the most powerful. It is the gold in your whole toolkit. This is your gold. And that's what you want to build on. So, and you're, some people have, kind of a reluctancy to do stuff. I want to get you over that in that. So what could you offer? Now, it used to be when we trying to get, people together, we might offer them a chapter from your book. That is so old yawn. Give them a free chapter of your book on your website, on your book page. Offer them a free chapter there. If you've got a prequel you're working on, or maybe some short stories that you've got, how about you could put that together in a nice little PDF form and just give them out that they could download it, or you could turn it into an ebook. And a lot of people read ebooks. I'm not one of them. Don't send me an ebook. I mean, I'm on the computer all day. The last thing I want to do is take my pleasure reading back to the electronic form. I actually like to hold book. I buy a lot of books. I read at least 4 books. I have 4 books going on for pleasure at any one time during a week, during a month. Right. So with that said, you could create if you have a novella, if you have a prequel, something special, something that you had to the side. I just had this conversation with a client of mine. I said, so what are you doing with this? And I said, why don't we give it away as a freebie? Just come get it. This is free to you. Grab it. But you have to write enticing copy to pull them in. That's the magnet. That's the magnet that goes to it. It could be a special report about your expertise. People love cheat sheets. The five top tools for me, because my clients are authors and they're writers. So that's who my market is. So I could put out something for the 5 top tools that every author should have with AI. I could do the 5 tools. Like I'm going to be creating a whole new tool for just how do you step by step put your opt-in together, which would be components from what we're doing here today. Right. So that you can do because they're so important. So it's what do people want to know about what your skill level is that you can give to them, that you can bring them in. All right. It could be a very special tool or product that you've created. The one on my website right now, as we speak, is about the ultimate book marketing plan. Here it is, step by step, what you need to do. Bang, bang, bang. It's free to you. It's in a PDF. Put your name in and your email, and then click, and then I'll have a little greeting to you. Thank you for getting this, and now click here and download it, and immediately it's downloaded. Immediately, not a day later. It's immediate. So your whoever assists you on your website, that they would set that up so it's an automatic download for you. It's very common. It could be because I'm writing cookbooks, I may put together, this is a good idea. I could put together a series of recipes for calling all cooks. But cooks, for the cookbook, that's the two cookbooks I have now. Those are certainly ideal in bringing that away. So that's what, and I could offer that, I could actually do 2 opt-ins on my website. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking that's a good idea. So as when people visit your website, and it's very important for you to do HubSpot has an excellent evaluator of your website that you could see how fast it takes to download stuff, how to open up stuff, because we're in an impatient society and people bail out really quick. So how quickly can they bring it into play? It could be, again, a cheat sheet for your insights, for solutions that are specific to what your book is about. So we do kind of a double support. It could be anything that you've created. It could be a series of really awesome posters that you found that people would just want to have. But how you have, when you start building this inventory of goodies that you can do, here's what else you can do then with them, is that once someone goes to your website, and by the way, this is all done on your website. You do have a website. Please tell me you have a website. That you send them to your website, and it's going to be placed on the home page in the upper section on the right. Most of your probably visitors are going to be from North American and European countries. They read left to right. You want their eyeballs to end on the right side, upper section, in a color that will pop a few words, all right, that they can immediately go into. All right, and then what I do, like 3 days later, I send them something else. For example, I have done opt-ins dealing with how to be how to be a guest on a podcast. Right, I would do a couple things, how to create the questions for the interviewer. Another report a few days later would come out, how should you be dressed for a podcast? What should you have in your background that ties in to your area of expertise? The last thing you want to be is in a room where beds are unmade, and oh my God, I can't tell you. I had someone as a guest, I swore that she was in her garage talking to me, and I'm going, that doesn't work well for the audience on that. So this is what that you will start thinking about and put together in this. So what's the right place, and what's the placement for it? And then what are these bonuses? Now, when I do the bonus push outs after this, and I do my bonuses, that they all are connected to the topic, because that's what brought them to the party in the first place, correct? So it's all tied into the topic, but every 3 days I send them something else. Hi there. I just thought, I hope you're enjoying this and you're starting to work through it or whatever, just a personal note for me. And so, and then I thought, here's something else that I thought you might find of interest. And I just give it to them. There is no ask to do anything. There's no, go buy my book. Zero, zero doing this kind of stuff. And then a few days later, I'll send them something else. I may refer back to the other item, but I'll send them, and this all goes out via email. No social media, just the email from them on that. And then another few days, I send them something else. So within a 10-day period, they have 4 items from me. 4 items. What's the purpose? Let's go back to the purpose of your website. The purpose of your website is to bring people there and develop trust that whatever you're sharing is viable and can be trusted on that. The purpose of your website is to have content that will support, whether it's your books, your expertise, fill in the blank. And the purpose of your website is to collect emails. That's it. Those 3 elements. Is your website doing that? How effective is it? What's the increase? Now, some people will opt out at some point. Fine. No big deal on those areas. So what you want to do is do this. So I'm going to take you over. Now I'm going to share my screen again. And now I'm going to go into my website. And let's see, where are we? Here we are. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up as soon as I can do the share screen. Find that there. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay, now I'm going to go up here. We're going to take down my sign-up sheet that I wanted to show you. And now I'm going to bring up the Book Shepherd website. All right, now, so we have all the standard stuff, but this is, remember, the left to right, right? Left to right cursor. Now, grab, and this is what it's called. Grab the Ultimate Book Marketing Success Plan. That's the current one. I will be changing it, but it's a bright color. Click here to grab your copy. So I said, okay. So I said, I'd like to have that Ultimate Book Marketing Success Plan. So they would click there. That's the next screen that comes up. What's your name and what's your email? So if I put in, I'm just going to put in, I'll put in my name. All right. So I can put in my name. All right. Come on, let's come up. Do that. So then I have to type it. So I put in. All right. And then I put in my email. And then I click submit. Thanks for signing up. Immediately, that has been sent to them. All right. Immediately. So going back to your home page, upper section on the far right, you want to have it showing something bright, whatever it is you're going to give them. And click here to sign. All right. So that's what you have. All right. So that's what essential for you to do that as you go forward. So, and that makes it, makes it exciting. And going through, you get notified. You should have your program notified that when you have new followers. I would be checking on this on a weekly basis. We do that. Well, in our office, we do it monthly. We just say, so where were we last month? This is where we are this month. In fact, we do that with all our social media deals, up, down, what we're doing there. So I can see what's happening, what's clicking, what's moving along, and the traction. So what do you need to do? Number 1, make a commitment. Commitment accounts. I'm going to do this. Right. Okay, so great idea. What am I going to create as my ultimate giveaway? And again, you saw I had a very short title for mine on this. What are you going to do for you? For children's authors, sometimes they create little activity books that they can give. There could be kids' books always have some kind of a moral to them. In that you could have create a quiz off of it. You could have this. This goes to parents because for usually, unless you're having older kids, um, you're moving into the very readable juvenile market. Most of them are not going to be tracking the areas that move along in this area, but that what you want to have is something that will bring it to you that you can make these contacts as we flow and we go along. So usually little kids, preschoolers, it's a parent or the grandparent usually. That's your market. So it'd be you'd have to design that your child, here's items that you can grab for your kids. Here are games your kids can use. This is coloring your kids can use. These are quizzes. There's are things that they can learn about bugs. I mean, all kinds of things that you can do in that. But then it starts getting more sophisticated in that area. For the more adult area, it's easier to create these things. Now, I write books about publishing, writing, and all that. So I could create, an opt-in that would go along a line, how to shortcut and move forward to get to conflict, and how can you use the emotions in conflict, or how could you do, different things that would be for your audience. Two of my books that I sell often together, especially in bookstores, is The Author's Walk, which is not about the craft at all. It's about momentum and getting going and keeping on track, your mojo. And then I sell it all the time with the Blunders book, how to avoid the screw ups and mistakes that are guaranteed to come your way. Okay, so I could do opt-in. Let's go to the blunder book, how to avoid book publishing blunders. So easy. What are the top 10 blunders that every author makes and what you can do to avoid them? And if you're in it, how do you get out of it? Okay, that would be an opt-in. What's your expertise? What can you pull from and do that, right? So start thinking, preparing. Now I go to my graphic people when I have this done and we pretty it up. One time I had, oh my gosh, had the alphabet soup of essentials, something like that, for authors. And I'm actually revisiting, going back and redoing that again. What's the alphabet soup for authors? The essentials that every author needs, as in, how do I get my ISBNs? How do I apply for an LCCN? How do I write a functional copyright page? Which I've just done this month on my blog, brought it in. How do you write the ultimate copyright page from the get-go that has all the essentials on it? How do you write, the gratitude, the acknowledgments, the thank you deal? So what are the essentials that an author would know? All right. So I'm going to go back. I did it very effectively. I'll tell you, the first week I got 1,800 new names and emails. I'm actually going to revisit that and come back, because then I broke it up and put it in pieces. Said you should be doing this out in pieces. It wasn't as effective. It was like, oh, I can get this all together. So I'm thinking, what can you do all together? What can you do, these nuggets of your knowledge that you can bring out and bring it together? All right. So start thinking about that. And then when I have it, I actually go through it, but I will take it over to my graphics people, the person who designs my interior designs on my books. And I would say, can you pretty this up for me a little bit? Then I have it in a PDF form, and that's what we send out. Okay, so everyone does something different, but you want to start thinking, what can I do? Next, let's go to your website. So essential. Is it ready? Does your website need a makeover? Mm-hmm. And by the way, they all do at some point. You need to go back at, how is my metadata on my home page? Is the metadata now going to reflect this opt-in and lead magnet would be the two words I would use. tied in with that. And whoever helps you install or upload that metadata, you want to make sure you have that in there. I would go in there and uh, uh, make sure my website was ready to receive it. Where can I do it? Do I need to shift around the home page a little bit so I can plop it in? Whoever's my website designer, I would have that conversation right now, saying this is what I'm going to be doing. I need to pop in a box on the far right corner in the upper section that people will see as soon as they go on my home page. It shows literally, it will come in and show that they don't have to go the hunt and peck and find wherever this thing is. No, upper section by your banner area. And by the way, while you're at your banner area, what's it say? Does it have your name on it? Do you have a tagline or a slogan with what you promise when people visit your page for you? What do you have on there? Let's kind of fix that up. Is there an emotional pull for it? So let me give you a tip here. One of my favorite tools. I'm honored to be doing a session for the Book Brush bookmark in I think it's July 26th. I'm doing it. I'm going to be kicking off Sunday um, and bringing that back out. But that I'm going to be doing on my top 10 killer marketing tools to use. You know, so use words that will bring in the emotional pull. So the tool I would use for you, here's another freebie for you, would be AM Institute, Apple Mary, aminstitute.com. There's something called the Headline Analyzer. I've recommended this would be one of the tools I will recommend in the killer tool to put in and put in whatever you're trying to think for this logo. Does it have an emotional word and an adjective that will jump to pull people in? And see if it gets a grade of over 30. Okay, that becomes usable. So those little things you want to play with. Do you have that pull in to bring them in? All right. This is part of your slogan. Your slogan, you get 10 words. Don't go over 10 words to bring it in. But this is what people you're promising them when they come to their website. All right, then I would run through whatever you're using on your title for your giveaway, your lead magnet, your opt-in. I would run that through too. Does it have a little pop to it with it? All right, so the website, getting it ready. Talk to the website, your website designer, saying this is what I need to do. So I need to have this. We need to have the ability that it ties in with my mail-in program of your mail of choice, that any emails that are collected automatically go there, not to someone else's, which was a shock with another client of mine. He's in his webmaster says, well, I just collect them. It goes into my program. And I know they're yours. And I'm going, well, that doesn't help the client. He or she needs the control of it. So that got stopped real fast. Actually, we got a new website designer, but that's something that's important to understand in that process. Okay. So is your website ready? So you tell them, this is what I'm doing. And if you will take advantage of the idea, if you've got other reports, other things that you think you're the people who you're trying to attract would like, that you want to give as a giveaway, get them prepped and just send it, as a report. This doesn't have to be fancy dancy, but make sure, by the way, on everything you send out at the very bottom of each page of it, you've got a copyright, whatever the year is, your name. I would have your website on it. I would have your email on it. All right. Your contact. I give people my phone number, but do that so it becomes a constant in your thinking. This is part of your branding as that goes out. But copyright everything, every freaking page, people, that you give away goes out, has kind of like a footer on it. Smaller, but it's in there. And I always do mine in color. Right. So that All right, so get them all prepared that this is going to go. You need to have, like I showed you on mine, thank you, very, very short, very short. And, this is where you put your name and click here, and you immediately get your report. All right. So with that report, with the report, there's another lead line that will come from me saying, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for downloading. And then I would put the title of the report. And I would welcome any questions you might have about it. And just let it go. And then in a few days later, you have it automatically sent out, and the webmaster sets this up to go out, right? They should know how to do this. If they don't, you may have the wrong webmaster. Just saying. All right. So you want to create something with your call to action, and then I would create that hello page that I was telling you about, and it goes where it goes. Now, next thing is we need to create a campaign. So in creating a campaign that we do would be for that one of my authors who I'm working with right now, who is an expert in virtual teams of people who have to manage others and lead others on a remote basis always. All right, so we've created the opt-in for the tools. His opt-in is for the tools a remote leader and manager needs. All right, so his market would obviously be what? Leaders. All right, leaders and managers of these groups. All right, so then I wrote up 15 lines that we will go out taking components of his report to be the pull-in. All right. And then here's the link only to his website. Grab it here. Grab it here, the tools that he's giving here. So it goes to his website. Right. And then we have hashtags, and I always mention the name of the author in it. So get this free report via @ sign. So use whatever your social media would be your primary. For this purpose, it's a business type thing, so LinkedIn would be his primary. So it's at him on LinkedIn, so they know where it goes, and then he can track as it goes out. And every day he will be reporting out. He's got 15 now that will tie into this. He will have his virtual assistant on his across all his social media, be putting it out to start the ball rolling. Because a lot of people who you are connected with, here's the truthiness, a lot of the people who you are connected with on social media, you are clueless with what their email is. Isn't that not right? I mean, I have, between all my contacts, I have over 100,000 contacts. I don't have 100,000 emails. Now that would be interesting, but I don't. And I don't know who. I mean, a lot of people use oddball names. You never know who's following. You never know. So this is the way we're trying to do, is to build up your gold mine, your treasure chest of emails. So you have one. All right. So we create this campaign and we start going. And in talking with his virtual assistants, this is, okay, I need to know all our benchmarks. We need to know, where are we starting from? In this particular case, it's emails. But it also could be increasing on other things because of the hashtags that get loaded in would lead it into other avenues, and people would see the variation of these 15 now campaign posts to build up the email list for him that would move on out in that direction. So it's work. I get it. I so get this. This is work as we go forward. But it's essential work. Your website is so important. So let's go back. Let's do a look over. Do you need to fix it? Is it really dated? Now, in the client I was just talking about, we were looking at stuff that was very, from pictures, dated. Let's get some updated pictures, some more different type of action pictures, because I know we have them. Is the copy correct? And it wasn't. He's working on the third book now. It was not current. And what happens with most of us when we build all this stuff or we do our website, it becomes a set it and forget it. I do not want you to do that. Your website should have a poke, at least quarterly. Is it current? Are links still working? Is all this, and look at mine break, and we're in it all the time. Things break, or it's no longer, no, it's no longer relevant. Let's get rid of some of this stuff, and moving it, or let's replace it, and let's do ads with it. So that's what's really important. But once you have this all together, this should become part of your daily routine of promotion, whether you're going to be the promoter and push it out, or you're going to have someone do the promoting for you. I don't care which way you go in, but the power of your opt-in is so huge, in this, and what it can bring together for you. It's so huge that I just can't underestimate it. And it pains me when I see that the social media, something's gone kaput on social media, and people don't know what to do to get it back. It's help, I've fallen down and I don't know how to get back up. So let's just review the things that you can do for it. We just have a few minutes left for us. You could give a synopsis of this whole new book coming together with some tips and tools. I don't think that's so effective in that. They want, unless they've got spare time, on it. So people are usually looking for tools that they can use, those cheat sheets. So what could you create of a cheat sheet? The top 10 things you need to know about blah, 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 on that. And tie it into the theme of your book. Give them within the area. On the cheat sheet they have, if you're talking about your book, I would make sure you have your book cover showing really quickly. I would do the lead in. These elements are taken from this book, and this is how to use them. Something like this. And when I say this book, I would be writing the title of the book in. I'm a big believer in just reinforcing whatever your title is. And you could, if you want to say it's available in bookstores, they can be ordered through bookstores. If you're on Ingram's Bark, any book can be ordered into a bookstore. You can do that. All right. So have that away. If it's a very special report, it could be something you pulled from somewhere else that you have special permission to share with. Heck, you could push that out to get that out. It supports them. It does a cross promotion. That's it's totally good. You could decide that. Now, I've actually seen people give away an entire PDF of a book, of their book, of an older book. If it's older, why is it older? Is it irrelevant or is it current? All right, so figure out what you can do on that, and that could be those older things. I think sometimes could be the bonus gifts that you just might like it, and they may end up going getting it. That you could have a series of the 10 things that motivated me to write my book, and they could be a series of quotes and maybe little commentaries about them if I was writing it to my audience for that. If you have a very special tool that you've created, like uniquely created, you could offer that out on that. Remember, people like the cheat sheets, and they like tips, and they like tools. So those are the most popular of all of those elements as they come together in that. So do a follow-up. Is it working? Now, remember, some people have put things up and they never got any comments. I don't know what their campaign was like to attract. It was once they had it, they created it, they put it up, but I don't know what then they're doing to bring people in. Is their campaign not written correctly? Does it not have the right emotional CTA, the call to action, to bring them in to check it out on that? And make sure you check, how long does it take when someone puts in your website? How long does it take for that baby to pop up? Those are things that you want to be looking at all the time. So now, once you have this on that and you keep pushing it out, if it's working, just keep it. Keep going for it. There's no reason to take it down. Or if you want to create a new one to bring more action in, which would be totally fine in the process, you could bury it. And when I bury it, that some people, once they come in, they might explore your website a little bit more. And it could be they go check out your newsletter. Maybe you have a newsletter on there. Maybe you have a blog. Totally good. That you could actually create a dual opt-in and create a secondary opt-in, like, wait. You know, if here's another freebie that you might like for a second opt-in. Now, one of the things, a lot of the programs, the way they're set up, is that, like, I'm already get my stuff. So you saw me type in my name and my email to download start the download process for my opt-in for the ultimate book marketing success plan. That because I'm already in the system, that it won't click, right? So be aware of that, and they evolve, and I'm telling myself I need to go check on that too. All of them are very different. So you need to know what the rules are with that as they bring that about, and that you don't run aground that it's not going to work on that. And I have a couple of emails I use, and you might want to say in your thank you letter to please add a specific email that you send out things from. Mine would most likely come from Judith at Briles.com, that into your contact list, so it won't be labeled as junk. We are seeing more and more, especially things in the Gmail line, that get thrown into spam and junk so quickly. So you just need to be aware it's going on, be prepared for it. But again, just do the ask. Just do the ask on that. So the opt-in or lead magnet, whatever you call it, is essential in your success plan for your website, for your expertise, for your book selling. It's essential for you to build on your contact list. And I know people say, well, I don't want to send out too much because then they, unsubscribe. Fine. They're no longer a fit for you. It's fine to get unsubscribes on that. And one thing I do want to add in, this is, like on my little sheet where I'm collecting, let's see if I can see the lines, the names. Some people really write sloppy, really sloppy. And I have to go back and see, can I read this thing? And I keep, and I have a clipboard, a special clipboard. This sheet, this little baby goes right on my book table. And I said, I'd love to have you join my email list. And when they sign this, they have opted in. They, by permission, when they sign this stuff, this is their opt-in, which works really well, really, really well. All right. So that sums up, create the opt-in, create your ultimate opt-in, whatever it's going to be. If you have any questions, email me, but put in the subject line question about opt-ins or something like that. because I do get 300 to 500 emails a day. A lot of them go into junk. Also, when I check on my emails first thing in the morning, I'm going looking for what I can delete, because there's a gazillion things that come in. We all get junk. All of us do. But I go in to try to get those things put together really fast. What I can get through to clean through, then I can address the things that are important. So give me a hint. If you have a question on building and all that, or if I need to refer you to someone to help you out, I'd be delighted to do that. So with that said, it's another session. We're at wrap-up time. I hope the summer's being good for all of you, and you're doing that. And I'll just tell you, I have a brand new book coming this summer. It's Appetizers with Judith. So if you like to cook, you're looking for easy peasy things, if you like to have friends over, you like to have nibbles that are yummy, it's your book. It'll be on Amazon, easy peasy to get. It'll be popping up sometime in late July. With that, I'll bid you adieu. I'll see you next week. I'm Judith Briles, the Book Shepherd.